Take a look at this video submitted to us by Ed LaPlante. He says he was dropping off a friend after a night at the Turning Stone Casino when he noticed the flames coming from Martin Street. And look at this. This fire was a true monster. LaPlante says the hardest thing about watching the fire was knowing there were kids inside the home. He says all he could think about were those 4 children.
Now, First Deputy Chief Young joins us now here. And Chief Young, you were here on the scene. First, describe what you saw as you approached. You live not too far from here.
I do. Just a few blocks away. And when I got here, the entire front of the house was engulfed. And I got here just as the porch roof fell in. And we were able to get the firefighters off that porch and then find another entry to get back in to try and fight the fire.
You knew there were people inside. At that point, what goes through your mind about trying to get them out?
Well, we had suspected that there were people inside. We had reports that there might be, but we go to every fire and we search it just as if there are people inside, even if we have reports of people out. So we made an aggressive attempt to get inside and put this fire out and make the searches and get to the people that were there. But the fire just got beyond our ability to make those searches happen.
Initially, you had to pull it to an outside operation so you could find a new approach and quell that fire a bit. What happened next then?
After we got the fire knocked down, we went back in to make those searches and to locate the victims, and then we finished extinguishing the fire.
Certainly there are so many questions. People want to know how this terrible tragedy could have happened. You told us earlier tonight you believe it started in the bottom front of the home. What sorts of things do you look at to try to pinpoint the cause?
That's a good question for fire investigators.
Yeah.
So they'll look to see different patterns of how the fire would burn. And they were here early on, so they would have a good idea as to how the fire would grow from there, and the collapse will certainly give them clues to that as well.
What about the department and how you will offer assistance to the members who were here last night? What's available for them?
Well, we have a critical incident management team where we have peer counselors who have gotten training and such things. This is what we would call an unusual event, and there are normal reactions to unusual events. And everybody experiences them when there are traumatic events like that. So we educate our members on what those signs and symptoms are that they're experiencing: the agitation, anxiety, sleepless nights, those sorts of things. So we educate them on that and go through different things that they can do to help alleviate that and get them back to a sense of normalcy.
And do you find that oftentimes maybe it won't be right in that moment, but perhaps days or weeks down the line that firefighters feel this?
This takes time. It doesn't. This is a fresh, open wound event, and it's going to take them time to get over that. And with different people, it takes different amounts of time.
And I know the nature of the fire department. It's often the younger guys who are the first ones on a scene, and yet they often have younger children. It must be particularly difficult when children are involved in a fatal fire like this.
When children are involved, it amps things up. A loss of life of any sort is really a tragic event, and when you add children to that mix, it just makes it that much worse. And then with the magnitude or the amount of people lost in this fire, it's just devastating.
Certainly our hearts go out to your department as well as the family here tonight.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Young, for joining us here tonight. We appreciate that. It has been a long day for the fire department. We have more team coverage live here from the Martin Street fire as we continue. Now back to Lisa.
All right, thanks so much, Matt and Megan. Right now.